So this is Northampton, and here's the bridge that goes over with Route 9 that goes to Amherst. That's the Florence area. My studio's around here. I love my studio. I get to look out the Mill River and, you know, just beautiful light in here. Usually, like with my artwork, that's what happens is like one idea leads to another, and then I find I'm using materials that like I would never have thought of using it, but then it kind of dictates what I need. Here's like wire, and these are just like fun ones. Found objects. I use all these found objects that I incorporate into the pieces. I use like a half a tennis ball and like a bath mat. I was inspired by snow globes when I was making the pieces, so it was a combination of my love for snow globes and that kind of idea that comes with it. They're kind of safe environments, so they bring people into this kind of safe world, drawing on that kind of like a little environment too, like that kind of control that you would have like as a child to like playing in the sandbox or something like that, like you're building your world on a small scale. It's like when you're in there, like you kind of look down into it and you can see that you're in a city. Well, see, this I have out because I'm gonna use it to light up one of the bubbles. Oh, it's so bright in here, but you can see that. Doesn't that look like Vegas to you? Las Vegas? So I'm gonna thread it up. Actually, this would have been great for Miami too. But it's gonna be a little difficult to do. Let's see. But basically it's gonna come up through the foam. But I mean, imagine that in there. Like, it's gonna light up the beads. I think some people kind of like the more literal pieces, and some people like the more fantastic kind of fantasy land pieces. So they're just different. They just have a lot in them, but they're also like little ecologies, like little environments that like, it can just be bizarro, but yet contained. And then they're called bubble, which references kind of like so many of the things that are like bubbles nowadays, like the financial market, and they do burst eventually. So they kind of draw on that too for me. They're fragile little worlds at the same time, even though they're protected. Here's a book. It's called The Interpretation of Dreams. But it was on the bookshelf in the store, so people would go to Interpretation of Dreams, and they would see my book next to it, and then they'd pull it out of the bookstore. This is called Choose. So it's about choosing your favorite gumball kind. Like, certain people don't like certain ones. It's all part of a body of work called Family Resemblances. This is one, it's called Limited Edition, and I have an installation of 456 bags of simulated blood that are installed in a gallery, showing mathematical data in a three-dimensional form, and kind of approaching it like a teenage girl getting her period and thinking about how many periods I'm going to have for my life, because it's such a huge experience. And it's something that's so private too that I kind of like making it more of a public thing. Like in our culture, it's kind of like, oh, your period is dirty or hidden, or, you know, just a lot of things that are associated with it are kind of negative. So I wanted to kind of put it out and show it in like a beautiful way. This is kind of like the childhood experience one, where you're down, when you get down into it, it just looks like a whole city metropolis. I did call it culture at first because it felt like it was something that was growing and cultivating, and then it turned into metropolis. If you came down and counted each one, you would see it's like one little thing is like 5, you know? It's like approximately 30 per inch. So it is 30 per inch. So this is 2 feet by 4 feet. That ends up being 1,152 inches times 30 equals 34,560 pins and beads and whatever. 34,000. That's crazy. It's like, it's so mesmerizing working on it because it's like all these colors. And see, people think when they see all the beads, they're like, oh my gosh, how long did that take? And they just see all the work in it. But I mean, a painter spends hours painting, and this is kind of similar. This is my oasis. Yeah, I mean, I come here and I just, time flies by. Like, I totally forget about what's going on and get really into the work, where hours go by and I just don't even know where they went. I'm just so involved in the process of making stuff.